We have a trial date already?
Yes.
100%.
That's good with everybody?
So far?
It's a place they didn't like. He set out where he's gonna be now. His supervisor doesn't have a problem. If he violates, he's going to prison or jail. He's not gonna be out. He's been back in without the ability to do anything for months. So I was,
Hold on.
yes.
Respectfully, the motion denied. All right. Thank you.
Good. See you.
The YNW Melly murder case feels like it's been going on forever. It's something that people have been waiting for since 2019, when YNW Melly was first incarcerated for the murder case. Even when the trial finally started moving forward earlier this year, it felt like not much occurred. So why is it in the spotlight again? And what does it mean for YNW Melly? We'll break it down for you, but first go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload from us.
That's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, by itself is reasonable doubt.
That means nothing, Your Honor. The fact that it's damaging, I'll concede that. It's inadmissible. And the status of this impression that there is a catch-all, we're only trying to seek justice and do good exception to all the rules of evidence, and there is no such thing. If it's admissible, admit it through an admissible procedure. You don't try and end around the court's order and the case law by coming in on some pretext and doing exactly what I told the court would happen and create an entire prejudicial fiasco and introduce inadmissible evidence into the record.
In a night that shook the Florida rap community, YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen found themselves at the center of a double homicide investigation. After YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie were shot, Bortlen rushed them to the hospital, his face filled with shock. But inconsistencies soon emerged. Bortlen's change of clothing and wavering testimony raised suspicions, casting doubt on his account of the night's events. As the case unfolded, Bortlen's role shifted from co-defendant to potential informant, implicating Melly in the process. The state of Florida's case was building. In this complex tale of friendship and betrayal, the truth remains elusive, leaving many to wonder what really happened on that fateful night.
So this is one of those cases that didn't let anybody down in terms of that. And I think when I originally had this case, I thought that there was a lot of holes in the state's case. And I think that it's being highlighted by the defense counsel now, all those different holes that are in the state's case. And I think that that's going to be a very tough thing to overcome.
As the investigation into the double homicide involving YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen deepened, inconsistencies began to surface. Bortlen's story shifted. His memory of the night's events becomes surprisingly vivid despite his initial claim of trying to hide and escape the chaos. Such contradictions led some to question his honesty, though no judgments were being officially made. Before his arrest, Bortlen took to Instagram Live, repeatedly asserting his and Melly's innocence. Though Melly was believed to be in the room, he remained off camera. Bortlen's insistence on their innocence, even posting it in the live comments, seemed to be a desperate attempt to control the narrative. The police interrogation at the hospital further complicated matters. When asked by Detective Ashton if he had recently fired a gun, Bortlen's denial was met with skepticism, causing him to become defensive. The detectives reassured him, but his concern was understandable given the gravity of the situation and the swirling rumors, including a claim by Juvie's father that Melly had killed the rappers over money. The case was fraught with tension and uncertainty, and Bortlen's lack of a share in the $500,000 the rappers were to split only added to the complexity. In a story filled with twists and turns, the truth remained elusive. The investigation into the double homicide involving Melly and Bortlen took a dramatic turn when detectives schooled Bortlen on self-defense. Despite the detective's explanation that shooting back in self-defense wasn't a crime, Bortlen insisted he hadn't touched a gun that day. The forensic team decided to test Bortlen's claims by examining his fingers for gunpowder residue. They found at least 1% of gunpowder residue, a discovery made possible by the presence of antimony, a rare element in ammunition. When a gun is fired, a cloud of fine particles covers the shooter's hand, potentially serving as crucial evidence. Police can measure gunpowder residue using an instant shooter identification kit, which is accurate 90% of the time, or by sending cotton swabs to a forensic lab for testing. Either way, the evidence pointed to Bortlen's deception. adding a new layer of complexity to an already tangled case. In the legal world, even the smallest lie can become a significant issue. Such was the case when YNW Bortlen, whose inconsistencies in his account of the double homicide involving Melly began to unravel his credibility. A single lie can void testimony, leading to the question, if a defendant has been inconsistent, why should their word be trusted now? Bortlen's willingness to testify against Melly sent shockwaves through the music community, with fans fearing that the Murder on My Mind rapper might actually be guilty. On July 1st, Bortlen appeared in court but did not yet speak against Melly. Under house arrest due to a lack of extensive criminal history, unlike Melly, Bortlen sought to change the conditions of his confinement, requesting permission to attend church and travel for shows. The judge, however, refused. Throughout the proceedings, Melly's lawyer has maintained that Bortlen's history of deception disqualifies him from testifying against Melly. The case continues to unfold, with the truth tangled in a web of lies and legal maneuvering. The legal battle surrounding the double homicide involving YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen continues to twist and turn. According to Melly's defense team, Bortlen arrived at the hospital in new clothes and lied consistently throughout the investigation. Despite claiming to have been in the drive-by shooting, he reportedly had no injuries, leading Melly's lawyer to attempt to pin the crime on him. The motive behind this strategy remains unclear, but it may be a desperate attempt to shift focus from Melly, who faces a potential death sentence. The state of Florida has yet to find substantial evidence against him, and his attorneys are working diligently to keep it that way. However, the case keeps circling back to the rapper. Initially, Melly and Bortlen both claimed that the incident was a drive-by shooting, but detectives discovered inconsistencies. The bullets from the supposed drive-by had no blood on them, and the bullet marks in the car didn't match the points where Sack Chaser and Juvie were hit. Now, prosecutors are pinning their hopes on a truthful testimony from either Melly or Bortlen. The stakes are high, and the truth remains elusive, buried beneath layers of deception and legal maneuvering. The world watches, waiting for the next twist in this complex and high-profile case. This legal entanglement involving Melly and Bortlen in the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie present a complex web of potential outcomes. If Melly is indeed guilty and Bortlen were to snitch, the ramifications would be far-reaching. Firstly, Bortlen could face sentencing for abetting a crime and lying to detectives, wasting valuable investigative time. Currently out on bond and under house arrest, he could face up to 10 years in jail for withholding information about Melly's alleged crime. Melly, on the other hand, could face life in prison or even a death sentence. If rumors about gang affiliations are true, Bortlen and his family's lives could be permanently altered. Melly's lawyer might argue that Bortlen's credibility is compromised due to his inconsistent statements since the trial's inception. This argument could be their main defense against the charges. However, if Melly is innocent and Bortlen lies against him, Bortlen could end up in jail, possibly after Melly has already faced severe punishment. The situation is fraught with risk, and Bortlen must carefully weigh the potential losses before deciding to testify. On July 19th, a significant development occurred in the ongoing legal drama involving YNW Melly. His best friend took the stand, testifying that Melly was at a house when they received the tragic news of Juvie and Sack Chaser's death. According to the friend, Melly was wearing shorts and a t-shirt that day, and they both went to Fredo's house in tears after hearing the news. This testimony paints a picture of Melly as shocked and grief-stricken, seemingly indicating that he was not in the car during the shooting. However, prosecutors are troubled by how quickly Melly appeared to move on from the incident. The complexity of the case involving Melly reached a critical point on July 22nd, when the jury found themselves at a dead end. Unable to reach a unanimous decision, with each member holding different opinions, they sent an inquiry form to Judge John Murphy, signaling their deadlock. Judge Murphy provided guidance on what to do in such a situation, instructing the jury to continue deliberating. He set a 3-day deadline, stating that if they still couldn't reach a decision, he would change the members of the team. Ultimately, the deadlock persisted, leading Judge Murphy to declare a mistrial and dismiss the case. This case involving Melly has not only captured the attention of the public, but has also been leveraged by some organizations for profit. For example, BetOnline_AG recently posted an image of Melly on their Instagram page, posing the question of guilt or innocence, a move that's likely drawn both interest and controversy. As the case continues, the path to resolution remains fraught with challenges. For Melly, the discovery of the murder weapon without his DNA on it could be a key to his exoneration. Even if Bortlen were to testify against him, more substantial evidence would be needed to establish a motive. Speculation continues, with Juvie's dad suggesting a financial motive, while the prosecution points to gang affiliation. Melly's defense counters that mere gestures or gang signs don't prove membership in a gang, citing the example of Serena Williams performing the Crip Walk on the tennis court as a tribute to her hometown. The case underscores the potential risks of even casual affiliation with gang symbols or behaviors. What may seem insignificant at the moment could have serious repercussions down the line, as YNW Melly's situation illustrates. The investigation into the deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie involving YNW Melly and YNW Bortlen remains embroiled in uncertainty. Progress has been slow, and if Melly's lawyers can't persuade the judge to drop the case, a trial seems inevitable. Melly's situation is further complicated by difficulties in contacting his family from jail, leaving fans clinging to hope for his release. Bortlen's position is equally precarious. While we've previously discussed the potential consequences he could face if he were to testify against Melly, the most significant risk might be Melly's attorney using his own testimony against him. Given the forensic evidence of gunpowder on Bortlen's hand from the day of the incident, this strategy could further implicate him. The situation is fraught with risk for both Melly and Bortlen, and the truth surrounding the tragic deaths of Sack Chaser and Juvie remain elusive. The case continues to unfold, with each new development adding to a narrative that is as compelling as it is confounding. Without definitive evidence or clear answers, conclusions remain premature, leaving all involved to navigate a legal labyrinth filled with twists, turns, and unanswered questions. And there you have it, everyone, the latest on YNW Melly, YNW Bortlen, and the case they're currently involved in. Do you think Bortlen would snitch out Melly? Is Melly guilty? Is Bortlen also involved? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel. Till then, take care.